Hello and welcome to the Kia EV6. This time with all-wheel drive. We've already shown the rear-wheel drive variant equipped with the big battery on the channel. We've shown you the sportiest version, the Kia EV6 GT, but the all-wheel drive with its 239 kW 325 HP has remained hidden from us so far. Surely you've already seen the detailed review along with the driving report of this incredible vehicle, which has garnered significant interest so that you're well informed. If not, feel free to check the video description. I've put a link in there for you. And today we want to take the EV6 AWD on the highway and see how much it consumes at 100, 120, 140, 160 km/h. We also want to do the charging check with him from 10 to 80%. And we want to talk about the driving comfort and the assistance systems with the model. 2024 speaking. Before we get started, could you please check if you're already part of the Simply Electric community? We would be delighted if you support us by subscribing. And now let's get started with the brand new Kia EV6 AWD. Before we get started, we always talk to you about the starting point. The starting point is the Kia EV6, model year 24, with all-wheel drive. This means we have two electric motors, one on the front axle, one on the rear axle. A combined system output of 239 kW, 325 HP, 605 Newton meters of torque, so it's got a lot of punch. Let's try this out. We'll also see how fast it goes. This car is supposed to accelerate from 0 to 100 km/h in just about 5 seconds or so. We installed a large battery pack, 77.4 kWh gross, 74 kWh usable, allowing the vehicle significant range per charge. Yes, outside temperature is a pleasant 17 degrees today, but that will gradually increase a bit over the course of the day. We're still in the morning, and I genuinely think that the temperature will rise to about 20 or perhaps even 22 degrees soon. We fit summer tires, Stefan, in what size? Right.
255s on 20-inch.
20-inch alloy wheels, a bit aero. Focused. We always drive with the air conditioning set at 21 degrees, usually in eco mode, and we take the opportunity because we cover a few kilometers. I think it's about 40 to the highway. Let's measure the overland fuel consumption here and check if it's optimal. Then I'll reset the onboard computer after charging so we can closely monitor the consumption over the next kilometers as we are heading towards New Brandenburg, both on the country road and maybe also in city traffic areas, so that we might also get a more accurate reference point on exactly how much it consumes, so to speak, as it travels across various terrains. We drove across the tranquil countryside and are now just before our test track on Autobahn A20. And we said we want to carefully look at the consumption overland and through New Brandenburg to understand it. We've driven a good 35 kilometers, 35.5 even, through beautiful countryside. Used 17.3 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. Don't let the time distract you and simply calculate the average speed from that important figure. I had a phone call that lasted for almost half an hour, and it was quite important. Not that you might think it, but we were driving backwards here or very slowly for a while, ensuring caution. That's not us. We're actually always where 100 is allowed and 70. And of course in town, as it should be, 50, right, Stefan? Or
just a regular fuck.
Or sometimes 30, right? Yes. We've arrived at our test track on the Autobahn A20 heading north, and we're resetting the computer with you to measure consumption at 100 km/h over 20 kilometers. This data is key for evaluating performance. After resetting, we'll drive and monitor fuel use. These results will show the car's efficiency and help us tweak to enhance fuel economy and performance. This ensures comparability later on with our other subjects in the consumption tables, because we are about 90% almost always accurate and exact. These trains operate on the same routes and are, of course, kept meticulously comparable in terms of the respective season and ambient temperature conditions for optimal performance. So let's see, the next 20 kilometers, what does the Kia EV6 AWD consume at an average speed of 100 km/h? Initially, we have an average consumption value, and after driving for 23.4 kilometers, the consumption is measured at 18.3 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, and then it drops slightly to 18.2. Yes, that's indeed a solid value. Here for the Kia EV6, equipped with all-wheel drive 239 kW and 325 HP. All right, I'm going to go ahead and accelerate the adaptive cruise control in the Kia EV6 to 120 km/h, ensuring we maintain a smooth and comfortable ride while maximizing efficiency and safety on our journey. Even when we've achieved that, we'll likewise reset the onboard computer here in order to show the consumption over the next 20 kilometers at an average speed of 120 km/h and see how it performs under these conditions. In the Kia EV6, you will have semi-autonomous support, especially with the highway drive assist, if you add the corresponding package during configuration. This package enhances your experience by offering advanced features and safety. Highway drive assist is an adaptive cruise control with lane keeping assist and steering assist. And if you use it correctly, you also have the lane change assist, where it autonomously, as you can see very, very nicely here, then also makes the lane change accordingly. It's really impressively smooth and seamless. You need to monitor the entire operational system and, of course, keep your hands firmly on the wheel. Speaking of hands on the wheel, for the facelift of the Kia EV6, which is certainly going to happen at some point, though we don't have exact information on when that might be, I would wish for maybe the capacitive steering wheel controls. So now you pretty much always have to gently tug the steering wheel, just to show you're attentive, that you have your hands on the wheel, while with other systems, you just keep 3 fingers on the wheel, and it recognizes it, that you basically have your hands on the wheel and are attentive. That's what I would wish for, and where we have also noticed widespread weaknesses is in traffic sign recognition, which is essential for safe driving. That's undoubtedly an area where Kia definitely needs to make some very much needed improvements. And I would really just wish that they could perhaps integrate the traffic signs more accurately and efficiently into their advanced operating system. On the highway drive assist, you additionally have the option to use it predictively. That signifies, if you happen to notice any change in speed, you can be assured that you are essentially traveling at the prescribed speed limit, complying with the regulations. You can easily tell by the fact that the kmh are green right here. We're not doing it with 120 kmh just yet, but we'll be getting there eventually. I think with the advisory speed limit and otherwise with the speed restriction at the speed value, it would also predictively adjust the speed when it detects the traffic change. This explanation isn't detailed enough for me compared to the German providers VW Group, BMW and Mercedes-Benz, which are known for their excellence. I expect in principle that navigation data is used, that one drives proactively, and that one basically knows, especially with fixed speed limits, which also that will come up again later, that you have the speed when you reach the traffic sign limit and not just start when you've practically read the sign while passing, then react and feel like you're already 100 or 200 meters further, depending on the speed you're going, and then possibly getting into a dangerous situation which could escalate quickly. So you see, there are still many crucial areas that are in need of significant improvement. However, I know that Kia tends to watch videos like ours very closely. And since it is very, very progressive and also integrates improvement suggestions into vehicle technology, it constantly develops, for example, even through innovative over-the-air updates, which significantly enhance the performance and features of the vehicles. That's exactly the way it was, for example, with the route planning when the charging planning was eventually added. Is it already time once again?
Yes.
That means we've driven more than 20 kilometers. Please do take a very good look, won't you, my friend? 20.5, 20.6 kilometers with the EV6 AWD, and we managed to somehow maintain an average consumption at an average speed of 120 km/h of 23.8 kilowatt hours. So states Stefan in his report.
That's perfectly all right, I'd say.
Yes.
For the AWD.
I would have preferred it slightly lower, but it's probably quite appropriate for the vehicle, wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely.
I have now set the adaptive cruise control to 140 km/h, clearing the trip computer together with you because we want to see how the fuel consumption actually develops and changes over the next good 20 kilometers at an average speed of 140 km/h. Are we perfectly set again?
We're ready to go again then.
Yes, we drove precisely 21 kilometers. And we used merely 24.4 kilowatt hours per each 100 kilometers. That has happened several times on this particular section, and each occurrence showed that the distance didn't quite increase exponentially as initially expected.
Right. And when you see that, you can go 140 instead of 120.
Sure, you can blame the track, the wind, or conditions, but recognizing effort and skill is key to understanding the outcome. Naturally, we can, of course, only relay what the onboard computer says. Because obviously, as always, we have here in the northeast of the country also wind, so now we have about 21 degrees. I had actually predicted that earlier as well. And these are just the circumstances we have in electromobility. That's why we always strive to select our participants carefully for you, ensuring they meet all of your expectations. Let's move on now to sports news.
Oh yes.
Then it really kicks forward. We can just easily take it out with 30, and that's fine, right?
No.
50, 70, 90, 100, 120, 140. And now it's comfortably reaching 160 km, 170, 180, steadily heading towards an astonishingly fast speed of 190. 190 km. Unfortunately, the Kia EV6 is unfortunately speed limited. However, we are surprisingly seeing 193 km displayed right here.
200 is always kind of our magic number, isn't it?
Yeah, they could have given us the 10 as well. Seriously.
And I also understand that some combustion engine drivers out there will say, hey, I'm definitely not buying a 239 kilowatt of Kia with 325 HP all-wheel drive, only to be limited at 190 kilometer H, right?
No, not really.
And I must also say, I can't disagree with you there, because you see here in Mecklenburg, the highway is absolutely clear. So you can drive wonderfully, very relaxedly and comfortably, even at 190 km/h on the highway here without worry. And apart from a bit of wind and a different road surface and someone pulling out like right here without signaling, nothing really happens, does it?
Not really, no. We are lucky here to have free highways.
I can fully understand that many truly want to make the most of their precious time and choose to drive a bit faster to reach their destination quicker. What do you think? We've made the U-turn, now driving the A20 freeway southbound at 160 km/h with adaptive cruise control on, enjoying the smooth, comfortable drive and impressive technology of our car's system. I'll reset the onboard computer, then see if we can maintain 160 km/h in mixed traffic conditions while you're monitoring our performance. Did you get it again? Yes, exactly. Yep, 21.3 kilometers. Now it's even 0.4 more. Can you believe it? We consistently drove 160 kilometers and it has a consumption of 39.5 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. Now he's taking a proper gulp from the battery, right?
That's really a lot. So it is important to keep it under 40, since it matters.
It seems quite possible that we'll be having some windy conditions today. I wouldn't rule that out. Maybe we had a bit of tailwind earlier, now maybe a bit of headwind. But we're still driving the electric car, right? Yes, we're not leaving it just because there's a bit of wind.
Oh no, it's a headwind. Then I won't ride today.
Because some people always rightly write that in the comments. You wonderful folks are, so to speak, our brain, our wisdom, making me happy. Give you the chance to interact also with our other thoroughly tested participants. We'll display all the tables, and I'm curious to hear your thoughts on how the Kia EV6 compares to the other vehicles, especially considering the various aspects we've evaluated. We would genuinely love to have an engaging conversation with you about the travel comfort here in the EV6 AWD. Stefan, what does your instinct really tell you now?
I enjoy the seats. You can adjust the headrest perfectly. It's absolutely great. I've got seat ventilation, especially when it's a bit warm. I'm sitting very comfortably. I might have wished for a bit more side support, but otherwise it's fine.
You had certainly more than enough support in those snug racing seats in the Kia EV6 GT, don't you remember that? Yes. Here the AWD is probably more focused on comfort. I have to say the seats make a strong impression, especially with the headrest. I have a good feeling about that too, and what I really like as well is the suspension of the Kia EV6. Kia is an Asian manufacturer, originally from Korea, but they really do understand what many Europeans prefer. There are indeed quite a few Asian manufacturers who come to us and then make an effort to adjust their Asian taste to our European taste, because especially the European, the typical German, likes it a bit firm, and that's a key preference, specifically when it comes to food. Incredibly comfortable. I have to say Kia really nailed it with their design choices, right? They did a fantastic job.
Absolutely.
Sure, sometimes you hit a bump and it really jolts you so unexpectedly. It's not a luxury ride like a Mercedes S-Class, but then again, it's not as pricey as a Mercedes S-Class, right?
You must consider that, of course.
Otherwise, the innovative Kia EV6, alongside the steadfast Niro EV, has boldly taken the competitive electric vehicle market by storm in the ever-expanding Kia family.
Absolutely. Sales figures are very good.
And Kia currently has really excellent offers for leasing, and they also provide great financing options for all their electric variants, making it worthwhile to explore. So, talk to your Kia partner on site. We've also received a press release about it saying that there are great things available. Yes, at Kia you also have the option to use the Kia Charge card available. I can show it to you whenever you are ready. This really is a nice product, where you can easily apply for a card through the manufacturer, adding a lot of convenience. Where I believe even in the first year then, the base fee is waived in the advanced plan. And then that's how it was with our Kia EV6, which dear Carsten drives, right? Yes. And now not only Ionity is offered at exceptionally attractive terms, but also the new innovative Aral Pulse. Oh, very good. And Aral Pulse, quite secretly, quietly and silently, I don't want to advertise for Aral Pulse, has pushed itself from the acceptance point forward.
Sure. You also see more pulse charging stations at various Herald locations in Germany, because the infrastructure for the spaces is there. That just needs to be implemented, and Herald does it really well.
And with the Kia Charge card, I'm totally certain you'll soon be able to charge at more than 800,000 convenient charging points all across Europe. You have fixed standard rates, and you have also mentioned the prices for abroad. You have the Kia Charge app, where you can get information and explore additional resources provided. And that is actually, I think, a good additional offering which not all Asian manufacturers provide, right?
Right. So you should definitely check it out.
We have now arrived at the Demmenland rest stop here in beautiful Vulture with us, and now want to do the detailed charging check from 10 to 80% with you all, so we ensure everything works perfectly. And yeah, there's quite a bit going on again, and we'll take a look at the rear view camera. Or rather, yes, here also with our subject on the comprehensive new 360-degree camera system and its features. That's obviously quite nice and high res, and also a fairly good size, and provides some features. So you can switch here, for example, and then you can walk around the EV6 like this, giving you a detailed view of its exterior and interior. So of course, Kia has significantly evolved over the years, and you also have the option to get 180-degree views, or even helpful guidelines when you are towing a long trailer, which can be incredibly useful for ensuring safety and ease of handling during your travels. That's genuinely a great system, which I would recommend to anyone wanting something almost exactly like that. We arrived here with 8% state of charge, and it's building a nice peak of charging. They say it is actually capable of charging up to 235 kilo of DC fast, and then it takes approximately around 18 minutes to go from 10 to 80% battery capacity. Those are of course always the top values from the manufacturer specs, which we at Simply Electric always like to want to undercut. Yes, you can see it. Yes, it goes very nicely, right up to 200 kilowatt, now up to 218 kilowatt. But what's crucial is that it holds this plateau for a long time and doesn't just charge quickly and then drops off sharply, because in the end it's about how many kilowatt hours I can get into the battery in what time we always charge with our free kilometers from. And Charge in Charge is an app or a convenient website which is very user-friendly and provides a lot of useful features for electric vehicle owners, making the charging process much more efficient and hassle-free, where you have the opportunity to collect free kilometers. On one hand, through affiliate links by online shopping, and on the other hand, through exciting challenges and reviews of such charging stations. Feel free to check out In Charge. We've already charged over 34,000 kilometers for free, with extra bonus miles added to your account. If you're interested, I've added a direct link to In Charge in the video description below for you. After 3 minutes, we've charged over 10%. We're now charging at 227, 228 kilowatt and have almost exactly 10 kilowatts in the battery again. So with Kia, it's smooth, but now in endurance. It's about maximizing battery capacity for longer, ensuring sustained performance on extended journeys without frequent recharges. Charging time is the ideal opportunity to show you the Kia EV6 a bit more from the outside and appreciate its sleek design. Sorry, again, dead insects are stuck all over the vehicle's exterior, making it a mess to clean. But you can truly see it very, very nicely in stone grey metallic, beautifully contrasted in shiny black, with some unique crown accessories that add elegance. Here the trim is also very, very nicely painted. We have a cross-utility vehicle, a small yet incredibly versatile SUV. I don't really know what it's exactly called, Stefan, do you?
Well, it's kind of a little crossover.
255 R20 is the tire size of our Michelin Pilot Sport summer season tires designed for optimal performance. The advanced rim design is quite effective.
Looks fancy, yeah.
And aerodynamically, of course, a bit optimized. You'll naturally also get, I believe, 18 and 19-inch tires. 19 inches, definitely. I think it's 19 inches.
No, we have 20.
On our Kia,
Oh, right, we have 19, right?
it's a bit smaller, right? The Kia has 19-inch wheels here. That aspect always depends a bit on the selected trim level and available options. At times it might vary greatly. Yes, right here we have it, as mentioned, in the beautiful stone gray metallic. It's an appealing color, it's naturally gray, with a slight and subtle beige touch to it. It's fresh, it's modern, and completely different, what I still really love. This here you see is the rear edge spoiler, complete with these functional air vents. With this ambient lighting, when you park in the evening, it beautifully lights up, creating a lovely inviting glow. So they really solved it nicely here, plus the fries counter, which is also supposed to provide some downforce, looks pretty slick. Yes, we certainly don't have rear wipers, we don't need them. Some people are bothered, but it doesn't really bother me. We were just at 3 minutes, now we're at 6 minutes. 32% left in the battery, we're still charging at 230, 231 kilowatt hours. Pressing and pressing and pressing, and we've already added another 21 kilowatt hours. So it should definitely be a solid 100 kilometers at a steady 120 kilometer H without brakes. Solid job in 6 minutes, right?
I think so too. This will keep going.
And that's where Kia, with its 800 volt system, I think is on the right track. To get combustion engine drivers excited about electric mobility, let's be honest, at the gas station, we need 3 to 5 minutes without a queue, and depending on tank size, we will most likely not get to that stage in e-mobility for quite a while, but for approximately a quarter of an hour, 20 minutes, or even when it was. Exactly like with our EQS for a duration of 30 minutes, we could always bridge them too, right? Absolutely. But over 30 minutes, it gets a bit tricky.
It'll be hard, right?
41% or 235 kilo of the factory specification have been reached. We have recharged a good 28 kilos in 8 minutes. So he's pushing today.
Yes, I said, please continue.
50% after 9 minutes, 239 kilo. We always top the peak values, and now, look, Stefan, we've recharged 35 kilowatt hours in 10 minutes, back to 50%. That really makes you feel happy, doesn't it?
This goes quick here, right? Nice.
71% after 15 minutes, good 52 kilowatt hours recharged. But it pulls through, correct? Yeah.
He does.
After our 50s clip, it kind of dropped a bit from 240 down to 190 kilos. He was pulling 150 kilovolts for quite a while. Now he's at 122 kilos. But as long as it stays constantly over 100, it's actually bearable.
That's a nice curve, I think.
8 to 78% in 18 minutes. It's still charging at 125 kilovolts, and we've added 58 kilowatts, showing just how fast and efficient this charger can be. And that's always the 70%, actually from 10 to 80%. We'll show you 80% as well. And with that, he has actually met his specification, even though we started 2% earlier, right?
I think so too.
80% after 19 minutes, around 60 kilowatt hours recharged. Even at 80%, it's still charging at 125, 126 kilowatts. But that should then, at that point, drop off more clearly and distinctly once again. We have also experienced that he took several short charging breaks, most likely to either restart or manage his battery's thermal regulation system effectively. He didn't do that today, so therefore it's surely a top value, right?
Definitely. This is fun.
I think what makes the Kia EV6 so appealing is that the highway drive assist, look, works up to 180 km/h, Stefan, yes?
Very cool.
That's excellent. So in full functionality, encompassing steering assist, lane change assist, blind spot monitoring, advanced braking, and adaptive cruise control. Lane keeping assist, look, it even has lane changing here.
That's awesome.
Oh, he just cut off.
But that's awesome, right?
Yeah, so I just find it impressive that Kia manages that while other manufacturers always limit themselves to around 130 km/h, I think it was Volvo who did that, or 135 with the X30, because that's just cool. Because, I mean, especially here in Germany, where you can drive faster, where you also enjoy semi-autonomous support in such a vehicle, it's much more pleasant. It really makes driving long distances easier and more comfortable. That's fantastic, and that's precisely why you're still attentive. That's why you're certainly not a speeder, but just someone. who also enjoys driving swiftly on free highways. Because look, Steffi without bikers, then just enjoys, right? Absolutely.
That's how traveling is fun.
And sometimes I wonder about the lovely comments from our cherished viewers, whom I appreciate and take seriously, because their thoughts and feedback mean so much to us. Where I always think, just let everyone drive however they think is right, fair, correct, wouldn't you agree? Pretty cool, right? Yeah. So clear, right?
What do we have here?
I think it's Meridian, right? Did I read that correctly? Yes, Meridian sound system. Meridian sound system. Well, KIA has indeed put something really nice in there again, haven't they? Though in the EV6 with rear-wheel drive from Carsten, it does have the regular Kia sound system, which also sounds decent. That's clear, right? So, for music virtuosos wanting more bass, Meridian is awesome, giving us depth and richness, making our experience more enjoyable and immersive. But otherwise, I think the normal one should be enough, right? What do you think? I like that. Let's get to the final conclusion with the Kia EV6. All-wheel drive, which means it has all-wheel drive. And I really have to say the amazing Kia EV6 truly excites me once again.
Yes, the other two models we had here, we already liked them a lot. That one serves us very faithfully right now.
We honestly and must say that. The car fits precisely and perfectly between the other models. We previously showed you the AWD equipped with the large battery and I think a particularly powerful 229 HP. Then we have here basically 325 HP in the middle with all-wheel drive and the second motor on the front axle. And then there's the main highlight, the incredible EV6 GT. I think it has around 599 horsepower, right? Absolutely right. So, a powerful and impressive performance beast, as they always tend to say, right? Absolutely. And anyone looking for an EV6 with AWD, maybe because they live in the mountains or just prefer AWD like I do, I think this is the perfect middle ground.
Absolutely.
Because our test subject here has, you could almost say, full house equipment, right? Yeah?
Sure.
It's around 66,000 euros. I know that's a lot of money, but don't even look at the manufacturer's official retail price because it's too high. But most of you are usually refinancing it either through a lease. Kia, with its dedicated dealers, has an offer tailored just for you, designed to meet your specific needs. And alternatively, they also offer, I believe, a very interesting financing option, so you then actually have to choose. But leasing is really convenient because, for example, with kilometer leasing, you do 3 years with 10,000 kilometers, then you have price X, and after that you give back the car and take the next fancy new Kia or whatever you liked and found on our channel, right?
Certainly, you should really make sure to check it out, I'd say.
About the car itself again, good travel comfort. I also find it now has a very, very premium quality interior. Kia puts in a lot of effort, with modern infotainment and really good app integration. Our test subject doesn't have a sunroof. I believe it's also optional for fans of refined air sports from the ceiling trash. And otherwise, please don't forget about the heat pump, and there are also matrix LED headlights. Actually, there's almost nothing, or is there a trailer hitch?
Yes, we've got the trailer hitch included as well.
I believe it was a 1.6 tons trailer load. Absolutely be sure to stick to that, please. Yes, I do believe this will certainly work.
Can you also tow a trailer?
Perfect. Other than that, there's really only one thing to say. Test drive it yourself, go to the Kia dealers, they'll be happy to see you. Find out whether you can effectively and successfully apply our insights in practice. I believe we are 99.9% aligned in our discoveries. And otherwise, you should drive electric cars. Well, we now have a big Alpatronic in Neustrelitz, not bad. Yes.
Things are going well with us.
So don't think we're covertly advertising here. We have eventually returned to our starting point here at the Regional Center for Renewable Energy with the Kia EV6 AWD. And thus, we are now at the end of today's insightful video. I trust it brought some valuable insight for you. Maybe leave us a heartfelt thumbs up to show your appreciation for that. And of course, we'd be thrilled if you could check again to see if you're part of the Einfach elektrisch community. We'd be happy if you supported us with a subscription, and then you won't miss our future videos with us. Thanks for watching, stay healthy, and see you soon. Your OLLI. What I also find really cool as a design feature, by the way, is this inlet here, you know? This makes it more efficient. Everyone thinks it's an air intake or something because the headlight ends here.
Yeah.
It's surely appealing to see, right?
Absolutely, looks incredibly amazing.